How's it going, guys? It's Kass. As always, if you've been enjoying the Demon Hunter content, then feel free to subscribe. In today's video, we're going to be talking about momentum and going through why I'm not going to be releasing a build guide on momentum and my personal opinions on momentum as a whole. In the background, you're going to see my character playing a build that I just threw together. This was just an example of the type of damage we can do with it, and honestly it's pretty similar to the other two builds that we've looked at previous, the Cycle of Hatred build as well as the First Blood build. I think really momentum's had one issue the whole time it's been in the game, and I think it's just the variance of complexity between momentum and any other build Demon Hunters have. When we think about early Legion, when momentum was king, there was a couple of things that I wanted to point out that maybe some people forgot. In early Legion, a lot of people were using cancel aura macros on their Fel Rush. It basically made it so when you pressed Fel Rush, you didn't have any of the negative movement abilities of pressing Fel Rush, so you just stayed in melee, got the damage amp, but didn't actually move anywhere. Another problem with that was that there was DCs that would happen with that in the middle of fights, and if you're not in the game, you can't do damage, which is pretty bad. Also, there are still situations where you Fel Rush into terrain, you Fel Rush into like random things, and it will still DC you. And honestly, the only other class that I've heard of things like that happening to is Mage Blink when you blink into terrain. It's like some weird anti-hack stuff. But that aside, we also have to think about why we moved away from momentum. And a lot of that was because of the set bonuses that we had pushed us towards demonic and the nerfs to Chaos Blades as well as Nemesis. I believe that happened right after Emerald Nightmare, or not Emerald Nightmare, the Nighthold. And ever since that, the set pieces that were tailored towards Demon Hunter or tailored towards demonic specifically, we really haven't looked back, especially because obviously Chaos Blades got taken out in BFA, so we no longer had that as an option. So demonic was really the only other thing to choose, except for momentum, obviously. I want to make it very clear, this video isn't about, oh, demonic's too good. Demonic is in a decent place. I don't think the nerfs that it got were justified, but we will see how we do in Shadowlands. I just wanted to make it clear that this is not a video about, oh, demonic killed momentum, because honestly Blizzard killed momentum with demonic, but demonic specifically isn't why momentum's bad. Momentum's bad because the negative trade-offs that you get from momentum are not rewarded. And somewhere along the lines, Blizzard just stopped thinking about this, I think, and that's why momentum's never been good. You have to use one of your defensive layers, being Fel Rush, as a generator. So that means there's going to be situations where if you had Fel Rush up, you'd be able to push out more damage, or if you had Fel Rush up, you wouldn't have died in the situations that you did die, but you're still doing the exact same damage, and in most cases less than someone not pressing Fel Rush for a generator and playing demonic. It also makes it so the playstyle is much harder to play, and we don't get rewarded for that either. In the background, you're going to see me using Vengeful Retreat, you're going to see me using Furious Gaze, you're going to also see me using Burning Hatred. It makes it way more challenging to keep up, or to not be resource capped, and to keep my spending and generating at a decent level. And in a lot of the situations in this video, you're going to see there's situations where I'm resource capped, my I-beam's off cooldown, and unfortunately I either have to choose between losing out on the Fury gen or potentially losing out on the resets of I-beam, since I'm also playing Cycle of Hatred. There's a lot of trade-offs with playing momentum, and none of it's rewarded. So that's the biggest thing, is I would love for there to be a situation where momentum is always the best possible Demon Hunter build to play. It's like 10 to 15% more damage if played at a very high level than demonic, but demonic would still be a very good viable option for people that don't want the negative trade-offs of momentum. That would allow Demon Hunter to still have two very good thriving builds, but then also allow people that want to play momentum and want to be rewarded for playing a more rewarding play style to actually feel rewarded. And that's the biggest thing that momentum's missing. When we think about a 6-second 15% damage amp, 15% damage is not very much in the grand scheme of things. And in a 6-second window, as a demon hunter, a lot of that time you're spending pressing Chaos Strike, obviously. But if you don't get good refunds, you're going to be in a situation where you're out of resource, and you're going to be pressing a generator. You're going to be pressing potentially defensives in those windows if you line it up improperly. There's a lot of things that can lose out. And I think a big change that Blizzard could do to make momentum feel much stronger, and just be smoother in general, is to actually lower how much time we spend at momentum, but increase the amount of flat damage that we get. So if you think about it, like a 4-second window for Demon Hunter is normally like 4 or 5 Chaos Strikes, which is like the big window where we're doing the most damage in our rotation, right? And if we think about that, on top of having momentum being like a 4-second cooldown, 45% increased damage, it makes it so when we're actually pressing momentum, it feels very, very rewarding, and every single portion of momentum is being used to amp damage that we want to be amped. And I think that's something that is a relatively easy change that'll make the playstyle feel much better, make the playstyle feel much rewarding, and also, as long as it has a higher damage threshold than Demonic, it'll make momentum always a good option to play. As always, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, F5, refresh, try it again. Maybe you'll like it the second time. Have a good one.